Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Heart.
So how about that Browns game? I'm just kidding. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry for all of you who came for your regularly scheduled dog check, which will be coming later. Hopefully, I screwed up and thought we were going live for Wrestle because Tuesdays are live days, and we were recording this on a Tuesday. So my brain had a really screwed up way of remembering when we were actually supposed to be doing these things. But we're here to talk wrestling live on a Tuesday. I'm Nick Mulbach, jolly old St. Nicholas, and this is my boy, Miss Anthony Lopez. Love that.
Dang right. What's going on, Nick? The kids at Heart back at it again. We missed last week, and we do apologize. We were awfully busy, had a lot going on last week, and we just got lost in the shuffle. But, you know, we're back at it with a live episode on a Tuesday. And although there was a little bit of miscommunication, we're going to rock with the live Tuesday episode. I'm committed to this. The second I saw that we're going live, I'm like, we're doing this. Like,
right.
I'm not about to back out of this. Like, I ain't about to say no. So this is what we're doing. This is what we got going on. And we have been hyping this episode up for weeks, not only on this show, but on Real Talk, maybe some Spin for the Real action. Go watch those shows too. But the back half of this episode, well, majority of this episode, will be 1,000% Wrestle Really Scared. But we'll give you more info on that.
Really Scared. One of my personal favorite things in the entire world.
We did a Wrestle Real Talk. We did that. We're doing a Wrestle Really Scared today. And then who knows? Maybe we got like a wrestle spin from the Wrestle Reel.
There you go.
Oh snap! I'm coming off the dome, but you know we got wrestling to talk about. We got some wrestling, but before we do that, usually Nick, have you watched any wrestling lately?
So the only thing that I'm going to talk about, and Chris actually just watched it himself, was this Big E promo with I've been off my game a little bit when it comes to watching wrestling lately. But this Big E promo with Paul Heyman, something that chances are great. If you weren't on the WWE YouTube channel, you have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about. But there was a promo with Paul Heyman on Talking Smack, the Paul Heyman Gives Advice show. And they were talking about, or he was hyping up Big E like crazy. So, I mean, it's something to talk about right now and just think about when it comes down to it. I'm just really, really excited to see where this singles run with Big E is going to take us. He kind of was like, hey, you got to forget about the New Day at this point because your legacy is going to be beyond yourself. So, yeah, Big E. Oh, boy, Jesus. Live voice cracking. Big E is going to, I think that we all know that a Big E singles push is coming and is going to be something that I think that at least us as fans have really, 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 really wanted to see for a while now. I mean, I think all the New Day are going to become single stars at some point. I just hope that they don't split up because apparently Kofi said he's going to retire if they don't. But
he did say that a few years ago, so he might have changed. He might have, been just saying things so the New Day wouldn't split up like 5 or 4 years ago, whenever he said that.
Right.
But
they know what kind of an asset he is,
Exactly. But that Big E, I'm so glad you told me to watch that because I wouldn't have watched it if you didn't tell me to. And it's just Paul Heyman giving his seal of approval to another singles wrestler. We've seen what it can do before, whether it's Cesaro, giving the little baby push that he got all those years ago when he was still Antonio. Whether it's CM Punk giving, even though you don't need CM Punk to get a boost, he is CM Punk, but Paul Heyman still elevates everyone he's with.
That's right.
So just giving him the little time with Big E that was on Talking Smack, big deal to me. It was a big deal to watch, and he, it's Paul Heyman giving him his seal of approval. But
Which,
holy hell,
That's all that matters is a Paul Heyman seal of approval. But funny enough, we're talking about WWE right now. We're probably going to be talking about WWE, I would imagine, for the rest of the show beyond this point. We have a very interesting, at least to me, this is like the most, surprisingly enough, this is something that's not WWE related that I think is the most intriguing thing in wrestling right now.
So the first thing, right, Nick, you made this known to me, even though we both keep up with the wrestling zeitgeist, with the wrestling pop culture zeitgeist. We keep up, and we may not watch everything, but we know what's going on. And 2 weeks ago, usually we know, sometimes we pre-record our shows, sometimes we do these live on Tuesdays, sometimes we just like last week we get caught up and we don't do a show sometimes. But 2 weeks ago, when we pre-recorded our show, the next day, right, the perks of having a show or pre-recording a show on a Tuesday before Dynamite, Sting showed up on All Elite Wrestling, right? He popped up, put a little hurting on Taz and all his peeps, but my God, Sting's here on freaking AEW. And then it goes even further than that. Later that episode, Kenny Omega beats Jon Moxley for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
Which we predicted here.
Yes, and Don Callis, right? He played a little part in the match. And when the match ended, Kenny was leaving the arena, and Don's like, "We'll see you on Tuesday." What's that mean? Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Like AEW Dark's on Tuesday. Is that what they mean? No. And then it was officially announced Kenny Omega was going to be on Impact, not Dark, Impact Wrestling.
Yeah. Impact friggin' Wrestling. It blew my damn mind. When I texted you that it was going on like that, it blew my damn mind, because it has been a while since, first of all, Impact has been given the pedestal that is being given in that standpoint. Like, if anything, Impact Wrestling needed what it was being given, and I love it. The fact of the matter is, Impact Wrestling, now we haven't really seen Kenny wrestle on Impact. He was on a bus and doing interviews with Josh Matthews.
Matthews. Yuck!
But I hope your neighbors love you. That said, it's insane to me to think that, it blew my damn mind. I'm texting you while this is happening, like, Chris, what the hell is happening right now on AEW?
And I'm like, what?
I'm like, Sting is here. And then I was like, oh, Sting is here. That's amazing. Yay. Oh my God. Kenny Omega is going to be on Impact. I think that I wonder what is going to happen, because I had heard at first that this whole thing was going to be a one-off. He was going to appear there. We were going to set up for the Good Brothers versus the Young Bucks, which, by the way, give me now.
Yes.
But yeah, man, oh man, did that just blow my mind. Now I wonder, is the Sting thing a TNA link, or is he AEW right now? I think he's All Elite. I think he's got to be All Elite, right?
No, yeah, Sting signed. It was like a multi-year thing. And I mentioned Sting in the same breath as this Kenny Omega news, because Sting, not only is he synonymous with WCW, but he's also synonymous with Impact Wrestling and TNA Wrestling.
Yes.
Sting arguably was more successful in TNA than he was in WCW. And whether you liked his run or not, or you liked his character iterations or not, Sting was awfully successful in TNA. And he was a cornerstone of that six-sided ring for a very long time.
He was TNA's Undertaker.
Exactly.
That's why we got those comparisons and those matches that everybody wants to see.
Yes.
Which now at this point, I mean, not the Undertaker retired, obviously, but I mean, at this point, we're never ever going to see that ever again.
Unfortunately, but the craziest part, and I don't want to bury the lead too much on my high spot for this week, but what I will say about the Sting stuff is that it's awesome. I hope they use Sting properly, because in hindsight, WWE really dropped the ball on on Sting. They really
Yes.
dropped the ball. Granted, we had some cool moments, but my God, overall, what a dud. What a dud. And I'm so glad he's with AEW now, because AEW is the Marky Mark show. Like, if you're smart, if you're a Mark, you love wrestling, you're watching AEW every week. And now that Sting's there, ooh, what's Sting gonna do? He looked at Darby Allin a certain way. He's talking to Cody Rhodes. Ooh.
Which, by the way, isn't Cody Rhodes like in a program right now with Shaquille O'Neal? Like,
1,000%.
are we forgetting about that? Like, I was happy to see them in the ring together because, I mean, Cody Rhodes is the most intriguing wrestler of all time, in my opinion. He's just an interesting wrestler because, like, a lot of wrestlers leave WWE and becomes bigger stars somewhere else, right? He left WWE and was a part of starting a damn company to go against them. Whatever. To that point, I will always respect Cody Rhodes. But my point is, with this whole AEW TNA thing, Impact. I guess I should say Impact, but I said TNA.
It's okay. It's okay.
We everybody knows it as TNA. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Is where do you think this goes? What are some matches that you would like to see?
Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, wow. I would love... See, I wish I was more familiar with Impact's roster.
It's a lot of ex-WWE guys right now. Yeah. So Rich Swann is their world champion.
So weird.
It is weird. I mean, he is another one of those guys who left WWE and became such a big superstar outside of it in Impact. You know what I mean? Eric Young is there. You got, the big match that stands out to me that I would hope would happen is either giving us a proper FTR or Revival versus the Good Brothers match, or Young Bucks versus Good Brothers, or the Mountain, or it's just like the tag team division from Impact is pretty goddamn good. Like,
yes.
It is impressive how good it is. And I mean, you had you have the Motor City Machine Guns back. Motor City Machine Guns versus Young Bucks. Yes, please.
Oh God.
Yes, freaking please.
You would use the tag division to the best of your ability. Oh God, I would say do Good Brothers, Bucks, and maybe like I don't know, FTR in the North, or a combination of those four
the
teams.
North. Why did I say the Mountain earlier? The North. That is what I was thinking about.
Yeah,
but I mean,
you can do North Young Bucks and Good Brothers FTR. I don't really care. Just give me those two. Give me a match. You can do it. Don't do 8-man. I take that back.
I want Impact. I personally, I will ride on Motor City Machine Guns versus.
No, if they can make that, honestly, I'll do you one better. What do you do? Motor City Machine Guns and SCU, like Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian or Christopher Daniels. I prefer Christopher Daniels since he was the fallen angel over there at Impact. The same thing for Frankie Kazarian. So maybe do those two guys. But just to get away from tags, spotlight that women's division. I know that TNA's or Impact's women's division is pretty stacked as well. So utilize that with AEW's. Get some shine on those ladies over there at AEW because God knows they need it. And then the world title, you got to have Kenny win it, right?
Kenny win the Impact Championship?
Yeah, like you got to. I mean, I think it's what this is going to lead to. Maybe just for some crossover potential, because there's no way Rich Swann's going to beat him, and they're going to face off against each other at some point. And if they're going to have Kenny be the guy, the link between all these North American companies, that's not WWE, then it would make sense. So I'm totally going to rock on the train of Kenny Omega is probably going to win that Impact World Heavyweight Championship at some point. And will it be forever? No, it won't. No.
Well,
but will it be for a hot second? 1,000%.
And it looks like Impact got rid of a couple of their championships, actually, because they did have that I'm going into this going, oh, remember the one weird world title that they had there? Impact has a lot of random freaking championships, and but right now, to go off of the list, you got Rich Swann as the Impact champion. You got we're forgetting the X Division championships.
Who's the X Division champ right now?
It's TJP as Manic.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he came back with a Darby Allin. Yes, he came back with like a new look and everything. It's not like the video game character. So and then you've got the Good Brothers are actually the Impact champion or tag team champions. And then oh god, Deonna Purrazzo.
Yeah, she's the women's champion. Yeah.
She's the women's champion. I still want Taya. Yeah. Or Taya. I want Taya. I love Taya.
She's great.
But yeah, I mean, this was a one little segment type thing. Just wanted to talk about this potential, not merger. I mean, Tony Khan was like, "Oh, I have the money to buy Impact Wrestling."
There's no way.
And if that happens, though, does that mean that TNA becomes the second show, or Impact?
Like one hell of a roster. It would. I mean, they wouldn't. I wouldn't call Impact the second show. It'd be like Raw and SmackDown, But it'd be weird, hypothetically. Hypothetically. Yeah. But I'm not counting on that anytime soon. I don't think that's gonna happen. At least none of the dirt sheets that I read are reporting that, or rumor, or having that be part of the rumor mill. So I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Well, no, it was brought up honestly during that really, really cheesy commercial that they put into the telecast of Impact Wrestling. It was the announcer guy. I keep forgetting his name. It was the announcer and Tony Khan.
Don Callis?
Yeah, it was. No, not Don Callis. They're a big guy over at AEW.
Who? Tony Schiavone?
Yeah, it was Schiavone and it was Schiavone and Khan. They did like a commercial interrupting in the middle of TNA, like, "Oh, we actually like that this is going on right now" and stuff like that. And I have the money that I could probably buy Impact Wrestling, and then I'm going, "Oh, well, maybe not."
Like, don't work me.
Because listen, if anything, it would be wonderful if Impact Wrestling could get the spotlight that it deserves. It's been around long enough to finally get that viewership.
It's good. I hear nothing but good things.
It's very good right now. It's very good right now. But that said, we have even more to talk about when it comes to the world of friggin' wrestling. So we're going to move on to fall number 2.
This is our pseudo Christmas episode. We may do a proper Christmas-esque thing next week. Who knows? The unpredictability of Wrestle Real is part of its charm. But
like going live.
Exactly, like going live on a Tuesday. But right now, we are going to bring in one of our 2 guests. You'll have the other one join us for the main event, per se, to say it lightly. But we're going to bring in our boy, the mastermind behind the Clean Clique over here at Who Are They Real Entertainment, and that is Taylor Clique.
Give me a fucking mic!
Welcome to Wrestle Real is Reely Scared. How you boys doing?
So I would have brought you in with the Nick Wyatt thing, but Matt properly reminded me that it got our stream taken down last time we went live. So what better way to bring in Mr. Slater Creek? I almost called you Creek again. That was a joke on Twitter, by the way. So, I know. Slater Clique with a good old rousing Scott Steiner. Give me the effing mic.
Give me the effing mic. I'm surprised I haven't said the F word yet, honestly. Probably because I know we're live and we're not pre-taping this.
The whole back, Steiner just used it up.
Well, that's right. We're letting Scott Steiner be the one to drop the F-bomb here today.
Drop that F elbow, dropping the elbow from the top rope.
The big booty daddy Santa Christmas. I'm trying to think of some amalgam of these ideas. The big crink, booty, crink. I don't move on.
So we brought Taylor on for this portion of the show because we're going to talk about Christmas and wrestling. Because Christmas and wrestling, surprisingly, are almost synonymous with one another. There's a lot of crossover between the two, whether it is on wrestling programming or on film, but we'll get to those later. But Nick, this is pseudo your idea. Like, you wanted to talk about one person in particular, and we kind of just expanded it from there.
Mm-hmm.
But who was that person you wanted to spotlight for this show, for this particular count?
Oh,
I didn't know who this person was until you brought this to my attention.
I'm excited to hear this.
Are we talking about ex-Santa Claus for some reason? That was managed by, I think, Ted DiBiase. That's pretty much all I know. Is so.
I think it's Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's Santa Claus. So my grandmother got me the. Oh boy. Merry Christmas. At least the Great Khali should join. You know what? Why not? They're apparently starting. They're apparently starting in NXT in India. So the Great Khali might already be working there. So yeah, there's Santa Claus.
That cute boy.
Okay.
That's Balls Mahoney.
So,
you know
I'm looking for his picture, so you
is
got
that Balls Mahoney?
That's Balls Mahoney, dude.
I freaking love.
that little boy grew up to
You
be
can
Balls
say-
Mahoney.
You can say you love Balls Mahoney.
I
You
love
can say
Balls
that.
Mahoney.
Don't second guess yourself.
Somebody's gonna cut it out, and it's gonna be like, I love balls. So
Just do it that time now.
yeah,
Yes,
you know,
see, like-
that was easy enough. So here's the only thing that I know about my boy Santa Claus is, so every year, well, I only have 2 iterations of it actually. I have 2 copies of the WWE Encyclopedia, which, you know, maybe one day we could go through the WWE Encyclopedia and point out all the really obscure wrestlers that are inside of it, because you've got some weird stuff. One of my favorite wrestlers was a guy. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Jesus Christ.
So, I'm glad we're on the
Merry
same.
Christmas.
Merry freaking Christmas.
I don't have a drink. Damn. Merry
I have my IG88 water bottle here, but it's empty right now. I'm gonna have a glass of wine later. That said, WWE Encyclopedia has some of my favorite wrestlers and little explanations about those wrestlers. One of the wrestlers is Just Joe. Was a guy who walked around backstage, and when people asked, "Who the hell are you?" he would say, "I'm Just Joe." And that is where my following of Santa Claus comes into play. But Christmas and WWE has been synonymous with each other. There have been gimmick matches based around Christmas. There have been plenty of iterations of Santa. There was that entire episode where, like, Santa Claus of Raw, I think it was, where Santa Claus was attacked by, I think, the Big Show or something like that.
There was one where he got hit by a car.
Yes. And
I'm
John
so glad
Cena was
you
trying to
mentioned
get.
that. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Slayer, because
Anytime.
that was gonna be my first little offering to this table, this Christmas table. He did get hit by a car on Raw.
Alberto Del Rio.
Remember when he
Yes,
turned
that was
face?
what.
Remember Alberto Del Rio turned face? Like, this natural born heel in wrestling and in real life, Alberto Del Rio is this awful human being, right? And he was a great pro wrestling heel. People hated him. You know, in a world where Vince McMahon was clamoring for the next Latino, the next Eddie Guerrero, essentially.
Yeah.
We got Alberto Del Rio, which is the closest we've gotten to a heel Latino Heat-esque character in pro wrestling since Eddie's passing, right? And then one day, Alberto turned face. And everyone's like, oh, okay. And it was weird because he was still doing like heel shit. Remember, like, he concussed Dolph Ziggler at on pay-per-view? Like, it was this whole thing. And then one day on Raw, because his entrance at the time was driving out into nice cars. Santa's out here, you know, waving to the kids, doing all this crazy stuff. And then Santa got hit by the damn car when Alberto Del Rio came out. What on God's green earth are you doing? He's a face. Like, what is happening right now? Like,
Yeah.
that's the face. almost killing Santa with vehicular manslaughter.
The babyface angle on it was interesting because I remember his whole thing was just he felt really bad about it. That was like his insight as a hero was he did run over Santa with his car, but he was really upset that it happened. Whereas if he was a heel, he would have gloated in it. But no, he was somebody we loved, so he felt bad about killing Santa with his vehicle on television. That's the hero's journey right there.
Millions of people watch Roberto Del Rio hit Santa Claus with the car on television. Why?
A face wrestler hitting. Oh, jeez.
I hate it.
Well, the implication, though, also because it's not. They don't present it as like okay, there's Santa Claus, and like that's its own thing, right? But like, no, Santa is here. He's here in the Terror Dome, and he's like hanging out with these. Like the implication of like, no, Santa's just real in wrestling canon.
Santa is real in wrestling canon. Yeah.
Like it's all real. It's just I don't like what I know. It's such a weird between kayfabe thing of like we all know this isn't real, right? We know it's wrestle real. We all know it's not real. But then, like, your suspension of disbelief has to be challenged by introducing something else that you've been also not to be real. This is Santa Claus, which it feels very, very controversial to say. I'm sorry, Chris. No, Santa's real. Xanta's not real.
You said Santa. Okay.
Yeah, Xanta's not real. It's just the implication of like here's a bunch because then I remember that episode was like all the superstars had to like rally to like try to save Santa. I remember John Cena like calling court in the locker room and like amping everybody up and being like, let's go save Santa! What the fuck? Like, we're adults and we're watching this. Just...
We're adults watching adults be like, yo, Santa just got hit by a car. We gotta go do something about it. It's like, what is happening? This is Raw. This is where big men hit each other with their fists and their bodies. And then we gotta go save Santa.
Like they were all really shaken about it and worried about him that the Santa Claus, who they know to be real, right, and love him, and they are on their best behavior to get gifts from him, and he died, and that was very upsetting for them, and we had to see that. And it's just very weird. But he did come back, correct?
Yes.
Or is Santa dead forever in the world of wrestling?
No. I think that was just one of the many Santas that have been hit by cars in pro wrestling.
Oh, so they're running on like a Tim Allen's The Santa Claus rule.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Mick Foley was Santa Claus. Like that was a thing for a while.
I think until legitimate, like if this year wasn't stricken by the virus, I truly think Mick Foley would have popped up on Raw or SmackDown as Santa, 1000%.
That's right. Makes sense. So that was Mick Foley. He played the Santa that got hit by the car, right? Right?
No.
That sounds
it
like
wasn't.
a bump that Mick Foley would take.
But I don't think that it was him because I think that we had like a Miracle on 34th Street match later on or something like that. So freaking stupid. By the way,
what if we could talk to the man himself and find out what really happened that day? What do you think he would say?
Well, hello, Nick Mulbach and Chris Anthony Lopez. This is the hardcore legend, Mick Foley, and giving a shout out to all the good people listening to the Wrestle Real Wrestling podcast. I understand you guys are huge fans of mine, and I'm wishing you and all your listeners a very Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year, and answering the question, who would win Mankind versus Santa? Well, Santa, other than hitting Ricardo Rodriguez with a bag full of toys in 2012, is something of a pacifist. But the guy can withstand inhuman punishment. You thought I could withstand punishment? Mankind was thrown off a cell 16 feet. Santa falls off houses regularly, thousands of times during the course of a single evening. He gets back up. He is like the Timex watch of mythical figures. He takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Oh, indeed he does. He's double tough. I don't know if people understand that. It was never really depicted that way in the Clark Clement Moore poem, but Santa is tough, tougher than mankind could ever think about being. I give Santa the nod because he's impervious to pain. but he is emotionally sensitive. All right, guys, all the best to you, and a new year better than this crummy one we've been going through. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Mick. So anyway, what were we talking about?
What?
What the hell?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What?
That's a little present. I'm really scared to you, Wrestle Real. A little really day's gift.
That was
What
incredible. Wow.
Oh my god, that was so dope.
My mind is freaking blown. Thank you.
I'm glad
Holy
you
crap.
helped clear that up for us.
That was, oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you, Really
Worked
Scared.
that out, Taylor.
Anytime,
Thank
friend.
you.
Anytime.
Oh my god.
That was,
Holy shit.
It was my pleasure. So, Miracle on 34th Street Fight.
yeah.
Racing thing.
Those, well, first of all, thank you so much. That was incredible. That was incredible. And yes, in context of wrestling, I guess that Santa Claus has Tim Allen it. But that was unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah, Miracle on 34th Street matches were a thing. I think that they were literally just like hardcore matches with Christmas themed related items, if I remember correctly. But I do have a little blurb on my boy Santa Claus, if you would like to hear it.
If you pull up a Balls Mahoney cameo, I'm gonna lose.
Unfortunately, I did not have the debuting at the Balls Mahoney. Unfortunately, is dead. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, yes.
Yes, right.
We love you, Balls Mahoney. So debuting at the In Your House I keep forgetting what that is. Pay-per-view. That's what I thought. I'm an idiot. All right, debuting at the In Your House 5 pay-per-view as the latest proof that anyone can be bought by $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, Santa Claus wrestled exactly one televised match against Scott Taylor before disappearing from television and entering the worst gimmick ever category. Years later, the man behind the abysmal character would find success in a little promotion called Extreme Championship Wrestling, where he would trade his festive attire for t-shirts, jeans, and the nickname Balls.
Good old Balls.
That was, I just really wanted to read that part right there.
Jesus Christ. I'm
What a
still out
legend.
of that goddamn cameo. Those who don't know, Nick and I we had no idea that was going to happen. Jesus.
No, that was a
You
little
guys
really
got-
scary secret.
Live reaction right there from that. See, I'm glad we went live for the
Yeah,
reason
I'm
of that.
glad we went live too.
Like,
Jesus.
That was the most genuine live reaction I have ever experienced before in my entire life.
Lord and Savior. No, but there are,
Pipe bomb.
yeah, by Mick Foley of all people. But that was
Well,
there were a
running.
couple other things I wanted to mention from Christmas, right? So I'll save the best for last. But y'all remember when WWE would do those like bra and panties matches, right, all the time, like the dark
How
time.
could I
of-
forget?
Yeah, I know, right? They're such an important part of wrestling history. But they used to do these things called Santa's little helper matches.
Mm.
They were almost like a derivative of that, where it'd just be women that they're wearing the gimmicky outfits to go with Christmas. They do the same thing, and it'd be so weird and gross in hindsight. Like in the Attitude Era, that was like the shit. It's like, yo, it's Stacy Keibler and Trish Stratus. It's like, oh wait, no, it's cool now. Let's cool it. It's cool it a little bit. This December to Dismember, I think it's what it's called. It's exactly
true.
the ECW pay-per-view.
Oh no.
It happened once. They did it one time, and oh my god, it was atrocious. Like the whole show was booked like that day. They put the show together that day. Some of the talent couldn't work. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. We saw the Extreme Elimination Chamber match. That was a total cluster frick, and like all that stuff, right? So Oh my God, Nick, maybe that's what we can do next week. We can do a commentary to this December to Dismember.
Yes, I do believe that there was actually more than one of them. I think
more
that
than
there was
I'm not gonna
one.
watch the other ones.
There was one before. Oh no, we know which one we need to watch. That's the
there's
thing.
an infamous one. Yeah,
the infamous one had Bobby Lashley going over in the Extreme Hell in a Cell match, where some of the cells didn't even open. I'm pretty sure Big Show had to like punch his way through his damn cell. It was everybody had a weapon. Now here's my thing: is that somebody had a table. Once the table is gone, then everybody else has these weapons they can use for the rest of the match.
And you got to work around the table because they can't take the table out.
Right.
Of the chamber. So you got to work around it. You got to put it somewhere. Like, where are you going to put that damn thing? And the last thing. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's just like that match right there was the beginning of the end for ECW, and it still lasted way longer than it needed to.
It was, oh God, I hated it. The WWE CW is the worst. But the last thing I wanted to mention was the movies and the most seamless transition in Wrestle Real history. There are a lot of Christmas WWE Studios movies that came out. The one we're talking about later is not a WWE Studios production. But there are a ton, including Christmas Bounty. Let's not forget Christmas Bounty. Jingle All the Way 2. Let's not forget that. With Larry the Cable Guy.
A classic.
Santa's Little Helper with The Miz. Let's not forget those. Well, the second one had Paige in it too. And then probably one of the more famous ones, Santa with Muscles. With Hulk
starring Terry Bollea himself.
of course.
So let's not forget these Christmas classics that are Santa with Muscles and Jingle All the Way 2. But the one we are going to talk about today, which, I mean, last time we talked about a movie with Taylor on Wrestle Real, we were here for 3 hours. And we're not going to do that today.
We were not here for 3 hours, but we were here a lot longer than y'all.
240. It was the longest episode of Wrestle Real by far.
Yeah, I see you guys pushing me through this segment real fast.
I was going to say, are we surprised, though? It's a clean click for a reason.
No, and the first time we talked about a movie that was awfully gross and different, and it was a proper horror film. But this one, which is, in hindsight, I wish I could switch the two movies for Wrestle Reely Scared. But we talked about a movie that stars a particular Jewish man as Santa Claus. And the movie was an absolute mess. And for our third count, we're talking about Santa's Sleigh, baby. But before we do that,
who's next?
We got to bring in exactly who is next. We got to bring in the other half of the Reely Scared boys. You can catch them every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, on this very channel or on this very Facebook page, wherever you're watching this at. We got to bring in the boy, Connie Santa Sleigh. Where my boy at? Connie is
there he is.
Connie Wrestle Time. Yeah!
I don't know how many give me the effing mics I could drop here, but I will say this is the first time ever that I could play this and have context to it.
See, there you damn go. We're going to talk about Santa's Sleigh. So for those who don't know what this movie is, it came out in 2005. It's this real low-budget Christmas horror movie. Would you call the horror movie?
I don't know what I would call it, honestly.
Horror comedy.
Incredible
Horror
is what I'll call it.
I don't think it's meant to be too scary.
Yeah, it's this Christmas horror comedy that stars Bill Goldberg, a notoriously Jewish man, as a version of Santa Claus who is not Santa Claus proper. He's, the spawn of Satan, but he lost the bet, and he had to be good. And that's how we got this version of Santa Claus that we all know and love. But the movie is a mess. And it's a clean hour 17. No, it's a mess in all the best ways. I'll preface with that. But, what do we think?
I think it's a masterpiece.
Boys. And Connie Wrestle Time, we can start with you. What did you think of Santa's Sleigh?
It's a timeless classic. I like the new lore behind Santa Claus. Being a spawn of Santa, it's pretty cool. I like Fran Drescher getting her hair burnt off in the opening minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. I don't know. It's a fun movie. It's a really fun movie, and Goldberg is fantastic in it. He definitely.
They,
Oh my
they
god!
strategically didn't give him too
There's
many
a wrestling
lines.
match over here.
Sorry.
The over-under on that, we're going to place it at 5 using that in the next however so long we talk about Santa Slay. But
no, he
Taylor,
knows exactly what he was starring in, and he hammed it up, and it was pretty good.
No one else.
Word.
It had to be
Taylor,
him.
what did you think? What did you think of Santa Slay?
Oh man, had any of you guys ever seen this movie before?
In
For
full,
this,
no.
no.
This is the second time I've watched Santa Slay.
Oh my god!
I watched it several years ago in a triple feature Christmas party, also featuring Jack Frost, which we of course just watched on this channel. Great time, and with Gary Busey's Ginger Dead Man.
Oh,
What a triad of cinema. This movie, I don't know, I didn't like it as much this time. I remember having a blast with it the first time, and the second time I was like, "Oh man, how do I get back here?" It's fun. It's like it's almost barely a movie. Like it's not even feature length, which I'm fine with. I don't think any of us probably got into this and was like, "Ah man, I wish there was 20 more minutes of this." Like it gets out and gets out clean. It's fun. It's not like by any conventions a good movie. When it's Bill Goldberg stomping into a new scene and killing people, it's very good. When it's anything else, it's not very good. Like the best part is probably the first 2 or 3 minutes. How did you guys like that scene? Because that scene rocks.
Yeah,
When,
that scene is fucking great. Sorry,
when Fran Drescher gets
No, please.
crushed
That's our
by her
one. That's
damn
our
son.
one.
Yeah, when like the entire budget goes towards like 3 or 4 cameos that get murdered before the credits start. You got like James Caan, Chris Kattan, Fran Drescher, and they just all get the first.
It's a who's who of 2005, really.
yeah.
I love that sequence. Honestly, like it sets the standard for the rest of the movie that you're gonna watch. I really liked it. I will go as far as saying I loved it. And there are a couple things I wanted to mention from that scene. Like I have a bunch of notes. It's like I'm on screen from the reel or something.
Oh, but real quick, did anybody else cheer when the old woman bit it?
I didn't cheer, but I laughed audibly.
Lady, his
I was
car gets
cracking up.
gored off the road by his wildebeest.
Move,
I was like,
bitch, get out the way.
Because I've dealt with old women like that before.
Sure.
In several jobs. So seeing that happen, I was like, yeah.
I love that Santa's sleigh is pulled by a big wildebeest and no reindeer.
Yeah, no reindeer. I thought it was, for whatever reason, I thought it was like an ox. But is that what it is? A wildebeest? Is that what it is?
An ox is more like akin to like a bull.
Oh,
Whereas, like-
word.
Whereas like this was more like, I don't know, I might be incorrect.
It
in
was
my
like a
classification.
giant boar, pretty much.
A boar's like a hog.
It's like a buffalo almost?
Yes, like a
hog?
buffalo.
Okay. Word.
Isn't like a wildebeest just a big hog?
No!
No. I don't know my beasts.
Now you're making me go. Now you're making me.
So-
you know what?
so-
You know what? What I was talking about was wrong. It's also not what it was, but it's also definitely not a wildebeest. Isn't a hog. I think it's more like a buffalo. Yeah, wildebeest has got kind of this Serengeti like cow feel to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let us know in the
welcome
comments
to
or in the
Beast
chat
Talk.
about what's your favorite wild beast. Let us know in the comments.
My favorite is a whole hog. But
Oh yeah, absolutely. If we're talking about hogs, we're going whole hog.
Nobody goes whole hog in this, but they do show bub.
Yo, they show a decent amount in this thing.
Oh,
but,
I would like to acknowledge that the woman at the strip club that Bill Goldberg's face goes into her crotch, that's his freaking wife. They met on the set of
Oh
Wait,
my
really?
God.
They
They're
met.
still married?
Yeah, and
They met in this.
yes, do you remember
That's a beautiful love story.
when Goldberg went to the crowd and lifted his shirtless son out of the crowd and he took his shirt off? The
Oh
woman
my
with him,
God.
that's his wife, and she was the stripper in Santa's sleigh.
There's another
I
cameo
would-
in the strip club. Did you guys catch that?
There's
The
That's
no-
what?
guy that Goldberg killed, or not Goldberg?
Is it Zeus?
Santa. The guy that Santa kills with the stripper pole. Did you catch who that was?
No.
It's none other than Vince Russo, bro.
It looked like him. You're lying. No.
Yeah,
no.
it is. It is because I was like,
not. Shut up.
I promise. Think I will lie
because it did look a lot like Vince Russo. I'm like, nah, I can't be him. Oh, word. Oh,
yeah.
Now that makes a lot of sense.
Not on the Santa sleigh on the strip club.
Oh,
yeah. Vince Russo gets impaled.
I've been to that strip club before. Taylor's great.
Word. That's it was the genders. Taylor was the stripper. Okay, I totally get it now.
It was such a shame that I had to give that up because of this pandemic.
You got to be safe, guys. Stay safe. Bro.
I had to get a new job. You know, you can't really strip from home. I mean, you can. I guess you can. You can.
Well, is that a conversation we're trying to have right now? Is stripping from home?
Yeah.
We're live.
At this point.
We're live.
We're doing live. Script. No, but the opening sequence, to go back to that for a second. I jotted down a few things. Fran Drescher emphasizing moist when James Caan was talking about it. That was really funny. The grace that the girl said, one of their daughters said, talking about how she wishes they're glad they're not poor. That got a good laugh out of me. Santa, like when Fran Drescher saw Goldberg.
Can I add that she said, "I'm glad we're not poor or Samoan."
No, yeah, that's what it was. Samoan. That was the other thing.
Like, what kind of a freaking line is that?
And Chris Kattan's like, yo, she improvised that. That's not in the script, bro. Like,
Chris Kattan's like, what's a Samoan?
Like, maybe that was something Goldberg told them. Like, yo, I don't like Samoan, so put that in the script. Like, that we're not poor or Samoan.
I want to mess with Dwayne.
You can't mess with Walking Tall's Dwayne Johnson. The dog. Like he kicked the shit out of the dog.
Yeah, he yeeted that dog pretty hard.
The ceiling fan, spun in the ceiling fan, and it flew back into the chimney that he bursted out of. Like, what's one hell of an entrance? That's his best entrance. Like after the fact, or the one like he headbutted the door and concussed himself. There's that one, and then there's the one where he didn't stand the slap. Like those are Goldberg's two best entrances by far. And then I noticed the deaths. I noted them as well because they were insane. Absolutely insane. Like drowning in eggnog, the girl that just fell back in her chair, got impaled in the neck by like a chair or some shit.
I like when he throws people into locked doors to break them down.
He
did that a few times.
It was easy clap. And him doing like he like tucked and rolled on the table and stabbed James Caan's hands into the table. It's like, this is insanity. And the whole budget went to that. Like, all the good acting went into that one scene. And I was so impressed by it. And then I was so let down by the acting going forward, besides the fact that Goldberg was beating the shit out of everyone in this movie.
It's because they didn't keep that same energy. It never really lived up to that opening scene.
No, it didn't.
Except when it gets to the strip club, but which that's like a total detour from the story of the movie.
Yeah,
the irrelevant characters in the strip club, and he
has nothing to do with the rest of the plot. Nothing.
But that scene's great. I love the one bouncer getting eaten by the buffalo. I love the showdown in there. I love when he goes to the Jewish deli, and spears the man through the deli counter.
Wasn't that hard? I popped. Like I popped hard for all my marks. Yo, this is totally off topic. I've been on other shows on this channel, and I'll say that like, oh, like I popped, you know, and I forget that that's such like a wrestling term to where other people aren't gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like I was on Spin for the Real a couple weeks ago. And we had a guest on who was also a wrestling fan, thank God. But he pointed out to me like, Chris, that sounds bad with no context. So when I popped, like I got awfully excited and I was audible about it. So
Barbarian called you out, boy. That was
he did call me out, and I'm glad he did because I would have never noticed that because no one told me. I say that all the time. But he speared the Jewish dude. Like he went through the damn display at the deli. He went through it, and the guy sold the spear like he got hit like by a car, like Santo and Alberto Del Rio hit him. And then he got stabbed with I don't want to get the word term incorrect, but the Hanukkah candle.
Menorah?
Menorah, thank you. Went right through the guy's neck, which is hard, even though he was still alive.
Which
It
is,
was
of course,
still pretty dope.
which is, of course, great because Bill Goldberg himself, Jewish man playing Killer Santa, tearing up a Jewish deli. It's great. Using a menorah as a murder weapon. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful, beautiful casting. I love towards the end when he rips off his Santa gear and he's just got these ripped Goldberg arms.
He's jacked. He was jacked. Like, my man did that for no reason, and my man was super swole. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I forgot that. I'm like, yo, this is pro wrestling. Okay, Jess, wait. Like, this is, like, I was so, like, taken aback. I'm like, yo, did Goldberg just do that? He's out here flexing on me in the freaking movie.
He's young.
One thing before I forget. Did y'all see who was credited as a producer for this thing?
Isn't it Brett Ratner?
Brett Ratner is credited as a producer for this movie.
Yay.
Well, you want to know? You want to know why? It was because his assistant was the director of the movie.
Oh, that's yuck.
See, after I watched the movie, I watched the Wrestling with Regret video. Brian Zane, please come on Wrestle Reel. And I got the context of what was going on behind the scenes. Do you guys remember at the strip club when he murdered all those people, but still had to wipe the pole down because he wasn't going to touch that shit?
Coronavirus.
That was such like an Austin Powers gag, like this pause in the middle of an action scene, like, oh, let me clean it down, it's gross, or like this you like don't need to even be told it's from 2005 to tell. Like the sense of humor is so early 2000s, like
all the one-liners, bro.
It's very like scary movie, as in like Wayans Brothers scary movie, or like it's just like gross. Like it totally wants to be as funny as like South Park. You know what I mean? Like whatever's fun. It's like we're gonna be crude and we're gonna be fuck Christmas. We're gonna make a anti-Christmas movie. Like it's just very dated. You can tell.
They dropped that F word a ton for no reason.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I just did. I'm apparently trying to be
no.
PG era on this show.
Taylor got one. I'm waiting for mine. I want to wait for mine for my one.
Give me a fucking mic.
Nick is my witness. Like I get at least like 4 or 5 during a Wrestle Reel. So my God. So I'm glad y'all are doing it this time, but not me. But this movie, God, it's just so ridiculous. When the girl, by the way, the 2 leads of this movie are Mary and Nick. So I mean, awfully Christmas oriented, and our boy Nick.
Yeah.
But when Mary picks up Nick from the deli, and she has the radio on in the car, and it's a hip hop rap station, like, or it's a hip hop Christmas station, I guess. And legitimately, one of the things that I heard the jock say was, "Jerk your knob off."
Get it.
And I thought to myself, like I should use that on my show tomorrow morning. But no, like and the song that played, and the song that played afterwards, it was like Christmas. Like it was this generic ass, like I don't know why I was paying so much attention to the details in this thing, but I couldn't help but listen to the radio. Maybe it's just my life and shit. I have to, but like that is so damn funny. Like jerk your knob off. Like this is ridiculous. This is so, but I love it, and I couldn't stop laughing at it. My God.
The tone really is kind of all over the place, because once you get past the initial like massacre scene, it almost becomes like an R-rated Disney Channel original movie. Do you guys feel that at all? It reminded me a lot of like, or even like a Goosebumps episode where it's like, here's the male lead, here's the female lead, they're best friends, they go on this adventure and something scary happens. Like it felt like an R.L. Stine story gone wrong. Like just got a little too crazy.
Have y'all covered Goosebumps on Reely Scared? This has nothing to do with what you said. But
no, we haven't covered Goosebumps in any true capacity.
Yo, like that TV show, there's some studs in that show, bro. There's some damn good episodes.
Yeah, Haunted Mask rules.
Like there's that one that had Adam West in it. I forget what it's called.
Oh, really? I don't know.
The superhero one. Y'all know
the Phantom.
Oh.
No, it's not the Phantom, is it? No.
No,
It's something like that. No, it is
it's
something like that.
He's playing like a parody of Batman, like his Batman, but it's terrifying. But I don't want to get into that. That's a whole different conversation we can have later. I just wanted to mention that since you mentioned, like the production value of this movie was awfully similar to those. But the DCOM one, I did get that vibe a lot, like late 90s, maybe even early 2000s DCOM. You know what I mean? Like before Disney really started giving them money to do stuff. But I totally can see that. And the two leads, did y'all? How'd you feel about Nick and Mary?
I hated Nick.
Yeah.
He said the R word at one point, and it rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not gonna front.
It's very 2005.
Yeah, and I'm like, I made sure to note, like the language, like this. That was the one they said.
Crude language. Didn't like it.
Yeah, like the unholy language. He said hell. Like I'm like his grandpa. Like don't say hell. Don't use the Lord's name in vain. I'm like, damn. Like they said the R word. Like so nonchalantly. This is what life was in 20have. Jesus. And
it was. No, it really was. It really was. It was. And this movie would have played big for me at 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like this would have totally been my brand of humor. This would have killed had I watched it in 2005. Sense of humor. So very much a product of its time. But yeah, no, I did not like the protagonist of this. I thought he was very obnoxious and unlikable, and then didn't really do anything to warrant becoming likable. He's very mean to everybody, and then by just default of, well, we don't all want to be killed by Santa, he's nice. But I don't feel like he went on a very coherent journey. I didn't like him very much at the end. I just actually I was gonna say I just didn't want him to die, but I didn't really care that much. I was like, if Santa catches him, I'm fine with it. I don't really care. The grandpa was kind of endearing.
The grandpa was endearing. I thought Mary, like the girlfriend, best friend character, were they dating? Because they kissed at the end.
No, she wanted him, and then he was like, "Nah."
And I'm like, whatever. And they're like 16, and they're talking about like all this crazy shit. I'm like, yo, like that's like when he typed in, first of all, that sus ass. Where's Santa?
Yo,
like he typed in like, yo, like is Santa real? And they're like, how old are you? and then he typed in like 16, and he's like, first off, no. And I'm like, damn, like this is so creepy and weird.
I love that part because that shows like again such a general misunderstanding of how the internet worked in that time. Like I love the thought of somebody's like sitting in their cubicle by the Santa Tracker chat room, like waiting for someone to sign off so they can help them out. And they're like, they're just there for 9 hours, Monday to Friday. And finally got one. Like, I love the idea of just chat room. Everybody's in a chat room in 2005. It's perfect.
It's so gross. It was so off-putting like that. Like Nick just sucked. Not you, Nick. Nick in the movie. What's his name? Nick. It was Nick Yule's son.
Oh yeah, the Yulesons.
Yeah. Like I hate this man. Like I thought Mary was so kind, and like she was the total opposite. Like I like Mary so much more. She got him the gun that was a transformer at the same time. It's like, did you make that? How quick did you make that? Because they don't sell those. Like imagine going to school, your transformer, and it's a gun. Like, I
wondered that, yeah. I was like, did they ever just make a straight up Glock transformer? Like, there's not even an orange tip on the barrel, let you know it's not business. Like
it's straight, it's all black, and then he's like, yo, like you got me a gun, and what are we gonna do with this? And I'm like, damn, she really got him a gun. She's like, no, silly. And then she opens it up and does all this shit. I'm like, what the hell? Like transformer? What kind of shit is this?
I thought that was going to come back later. That's when you, as we learned in when we watched Jack Frost on the other night. That every detail of that film is going somewhere. Everything is thought out and tracked. You can follow it. Beautifully plotted story. I thought that Transformers Glock was going to come back, but it didn't. It didn't. It's kind of true. Yeah, I'm being facetious, but it's kind of true. I do like Jack Frost more than this for whatever that.
Oh yeah.
Did you agree, Connor?
Yes. Jack Frost is a better Christmas story and a better better plotted movie overall, I would say.
That might be stunning to hear, Chris and Nick, that we found a better plotted movie than this.
Oh, are you kidding me? Come on. One of my favorite lines that got brought up that only Connor and Taylor will understand what I'm about to say, but I prefer, one of my favorite parts was when the grandfather farted and then said, "I tried to get up." Again, Chris, you won't understand why that's funny, but did he burp or something like that?
No, I just mean it was a good fart joke. Great.
Oh, it was a good fart joke. Yeah. When he went, I tried to get up. I kind of jumped out of my seat. But like
You popped.
there was a I popped. So, more ways than one, obviously. But I man, overall, I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray 4K copy of this movie. Loved it. I'm just kidding. Fantastic. I'm gonna watch it every year now, moving forward.
You did say in our watch chat that this movie is, and I quote, incredible.
Oh, it is, for sure. And it's probably only because I'm going, Bill Goldberg as Santa Claus is the greatest thing that I've ever seen before in my entire life.
You do kind of have to see it to believe it. It really does need to be witnessed for itself.
Yes.
And it is quick, which is to its advantage that it doesn't even make it to a 90-minute runtime. Like when I saw an hour 17 on the page and I pulled it up, I was like, oh, hell yeah, that's great. I love to see that runtime. It's, to be honest with you, and this is not meant to be a cheap plug, a Mick Foley cheap plug, but over on Reely Scared, we've been watching all these horror movies that tie into Christmas, and this is the only one that really has an actual killer Santa. We've got movies that invoke the idea of a killer Santa. We have Krampus, which is like a foil to Santa, but this is the only one that really has the cojones, the balls mahones to just go for it and make Santa a killer. And how'd you guys feel about that lore?
Oh my gosh. Insane.
The exposition that just laid it all onto us at one time and told us the plot of the movie.
Yeah, for those very few who haven't seen this film, because I couldn't remember what it was. I was like, how do they justify this happening? Because they clearly do establish Santa's been handing out gifts on the regular prior to this year. And so I was like, how do they explain that he can do this? And it's that 1,000 years ago. Well, first they established that Santa is actually the spawn of Satan. Mm-hmm. He's actually a foil to Jesus, who's the son of God. He's the son of Satan. Jesus. Yeah. We need to have an episode about Jesus and wrestling sometime, I think. See what's happened there.
Just religion in wrestling, really. We can talk about the match that had God in it.
Oh, it's true. Yeah.
One day.
God,
did God go over? God went over, right?
No, he didn't even show up.
Oh, God went MIA.
Typical God.
He left Michaels in the corner by himself.
He did. Vince McMahon showed up. What are you talking about?
That was some peak. I'm not making that up. It's what happened in the WWE.
Yeah.
That's not my idea. God. I'm just telling you what happened.
Leave me hanging in my tag matches.
God. Literally. But yeah. So Santa's the son of Satan. He loves causing mayhem and death everywhere he goes. And then one day he's visited by some sort of archangel who he's doing, what is that called? Where you like slide the things across the ice? What is it? It's like those
that would be shuffleboard.
Is it shuffleboard?
No.
Or not shuffleboard.
Curling?
Curling. It was curling. Yeah.
Yeah, Santa's curling one day. And this is all told again in a very sort of classic Christmas little claymation piece, which I think is lovely to see.
It was cool to see.
By the way, the Archangel looked exactly like his grandfather, right?
Yeah, I think everybody knew.
Like everybody kind of knew from that point that the farting dude was probably going to be the angel at the end. But
so yeah, they craft this very. It feels very much like an old sort of folklore tale. You know, he's visited by an angel, and he gives him a challenge. If I beat you in curling, then you can't kill people anymore. And for the next 1,000 years, you have to deliver gifts and joy to children all over the world. Santa loses. But through his own hubris, he loses. and is tricked into becoming the Santa Claus that we know and love. But finally, 1,000 years has ended, and he's ready to become what he was always meant to be. And he's returned to the township of hell to murder people and also kill the archangel himself who put him there. That part didn't make a lot of sense to me. He was the kid's grandpa, but he was also 1,000 years old. He was like made mortal. He was like Goldberg was making fun of him because he was immortal now, but it was like, but also he's 1,000 years old, is he not? So I don't know. That didn't track. They should have done a second pass at that.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I was trying to break that down too when I was watching it. I'm like, is he 1,000 years old? I don't think so. And if he was like immortal or something, spoiler alert, the grandfather gets his face stepped on and ran over by the buffalo.
That was insane.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ! But he was immortal, or he was whatever the hell. I don't get it, and I don't know. But it was one hell of a way to tell us in the old-fashioned Christmas storybook, like,
yeah, that part was nice.
The night before Christmas, all that shit. But they tried to make this the most Christmassy movie without making a Christmas movie at all. Like, it was definitely, they hit you over the head with the lore that they created, and it was interesting. I was intrigued by it, but I'm not out here clamoring for more. Because they definitely teased the freaking.
They set it up for more.
Yeah, I don't. Do you think Bill will come back?
Bill will do it now. I think Bill will do it now.
WWE Studios needs to make the sequel. You've got the Bill Goldberg connection. You've got the want for it. You've got 4 people here who are clamoring for it. Maybe not Taylor, but
I'll come back for 2.
I'm clamoring for it.
Oh, I am. I know that.
Let's open up this world and we can introduce we can bring in other Jewish wrestlers to be pivotal figures in Christmas. It'll be this whole thing. We can make a whole thing out of it. I don't know about y'all, but did you guys hear the score, right? The music behind this. Did y'all hear Goldberg's theme in this?
Yes, towards the end when he's in their house and he's hunting him down. Yeah, they got kind of this orchestral Christmas thing, but then he kind of goes down. Yeah, I totally heard that.
It took me a second to register. I'm like, yo, this is damn Goldberg's entrance.
They snuck it in,
and it's so hard. It's so hard.
That was playing, and I was like,
that was probably the best use of that.
Yeah, probably. And by the way,
Nick's all shitty now. he's like, how long have we been using this? What episode are we on? 14, 12?
When it
10,
comes
11?
to the score, for some reason, I distinctively had it in my brain that ICP did a song for the soundtrack, but they did not. But they also do have a song called Santa is a Fat Bitch. So, I mean, maybe in the sequel, we can make that happen.
Wow, that would be on brand for this.
Yeah.
Totally. We can get them in the movie, too.
There's
a cult in our movie, but it's led by ICP, but it's not Insane Clown Posse, but it's kind of like Insane Clown Posse at the same time. But I'm so glad you mentioned the music.
Rapping that song, and they're and then
Christmas.
Santa Claus comes back, and he's the new Santa for Santa's sleigh. Just kidding. I don't know. Balls Mahoney, rest in peace.
Xantha. You said Xantha, got me messed up. But speaking of music in the movie, did y'all stick around for the credits?
No.
I tapped out about halfway through. I was hearing some of that original Santa Sleigh composed soundtrack, though.
I loved it. That song, the song. One of the lyrics is, "You killed my Gramps and you tried to kill me." It was. It retold us the plot in the song in the credits, and this cool thing that I'll actually give them credit for was they had a naughty nice thing on the right side of the screen. And it was all the good characters were nice and all the bad ones were naughty. It was actually pretty cool. And they did it for all the people in the crew as well. This small detail that I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But my God.
Can I tell you one of my favorite Goldberg line deliveries in the film?
Yes, please.
Is when he's chasing them around and they're all scared and the kid shines the light at him to get him to go in. He goes, "I'm Santa Claus, not fucking Dracula."
Yep.
so many good. Like the only like the funniest thing about the movie is just hearing Bill Goldberg say that stuff while dressed like Santa Claus.
Yeah.
They gave him little dialogue. They just gave him a bunch of one-liners and hoped it worked, and it 1,000% did.
He really did play Goldberg dressed as Santa.
Yeah.
Yes. No doubt.
Like he wasn't playing Santa that looked like Goldberg.
Because why
He
wouldn't
was playing himself dressed as Santa.
it
It is
hard.
layered.
And that threw me off at first because I was like, all right, he's gonna be playing Santa, and then he just comes out and he's just Goldberg.
So Connor, was this really? Did you know anything about this movie before you started watching it?
Oh yes, I did because I wasn't allowed
Okay.
watching it when it first came out. I think I was like 11, but I wasn't allowed watching it because of the strip club scene, and I really wanted to
Nice.
watch it because I was a big fan of Corky Romano, and I remember on the back of the DVD cover, Chris Kattan's on the back of the cover, and I was like, I want to watch this movie.
And he's only like the first like 5
Yeah.
minutes. Of it.
Yeah, that's so misleading to put him on the DVD packaging.
Yeah,
Chris Kattan movie. I should have looked this up. I'd love to know what the journey was to those actors in the start being in this movie somehow. Like Chris
they
Kattan.
probably owed Brett Ratner a favor.
That must be it, right? Because it
Oh
was
shit!
I guarantee that's what it is.
Oh, that's a great point.
Ratner made the call. Yeah, because like none of those people I think of as having needed to probably been in this movie. I know, James Caan especially.
And they didn't have the money to give to them,
Yeah, I would like they should write a book just
About the first 3 minutes of this movie.
And it's transcripts of the phone calls that he made.
The book is longer than the 3 minutes. It's like 400 pages.
I wonder if you ask James Caan about, I bet he doesn't even know he's in this. Like if I emailed James Caan, I was like, Santa Sleigh watch along.
He'd probably be like,
Never
the
seen
fuck
it.
are you talking about?
I'm not watching that. I've never seen that. What is that movie? Get it. Leave me alone. How'd you get this number?
Do you think if we did a watch along Santa's Sleigh that Goldberg would think about it?
There's only one way to find out.
Like just think about it. Not saying he would say yes, because he probably wouldn't. He wouldn't sit with us through this thing. Because who the hell? Like Christmas, like Santa's Sleigh. He probably think we're like making fun of him, which we're not, because we love Goldberg in this movie.
We love him.
But imagine this Goldberg like, should I go do it with these WAP kids? These nerds.
Can you imagine we would if Goldberg were in here, how would any of us even pretend to know how to talk to him? You know what I mean? Like
I'd
that.
be so intimidated.
even like this.
Hi, Mr. Goldberg.
I call him Mr. Goldberg.
That because it's not a pseudonym or anything, right? His name is just Bill Goldberg, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be great. He's great in this. I mean, the whole entire film only works because he's in it. If it was anybody else, even like a buff actor, I can't think of I really can't think of who else it could or would be.
Brock Lesnar.
Well,
no, I wouldn't work with him. Nah.
I would watch that though. If
I
that
would
was
watch
sure.
the shit out of that. Oh, 1,000%.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Like that'd be hilarious.
But he has no lines. He just beats the shit out of people with no context.
Yes.
Like
maybe your play for Santa Sleigh 2 is like you
got
gotta create wrestling Krampus and then they fight.
Oh hell yeah!
That's Braun
So
Strowman.
Brock Lesnar as Krampus.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. There you go. And it's just them using their finishers on each other for 20 minutes, but through like windows and shit.
Yeah, that would be
That's
good.
hard.
Bray Wyatt would be a good wrestling Krampus.
Bray Wyatt would be an excellent wrestling Krampus.
I was surprised they never went that route with this character.
Oh, you
sounds
turn the
so
Fiend
terrible.
into wrestling Krampus?
Jury's
Don't
out.
get
on that.
ideas.
Hey,
Don't get ideas.
you guys are keeping tabs on what's happening in wrestling right now. Have they done any Christmas things on Raw or SmackDown lately?
Not yet.
No,
They usually save it for the last show, right? Before Christmas.
No, they haven't done anything too. Maybe they'll save it because SmackDown's on Christmas this year.
Oh,
So
Ducky Ducky.
see how that goes. But I'm curious into what's it called? I had lost my train of thought.
Well,
Oh,
before
but
that,
yes.
Connor, thank you so much for joining us
Good
for
night.
this episode
Good night,
of
beautiful boys.
Wrestle Reel.
Good night, Connie Claus.
It was wonderful to have you. You know,
love that
we'll
shirt,
be
homie.
back. We'll be back for the next episode when we actually pitch the next episode when we pitch the sequel to this film.
Okay, yes, absolutely.
But
Connie
because-
Wrestle Time, thank you, homie.
Have a good night, guys.
Bless you. Bless you.
God, love Connie Wrestle Time. That's the main right. I mean, he had the DX shirt. Connie suck it? Was that disrespectful?
You suck it. Wow.
Is that disrespectful? I don't want Connie DX. We'll keep
I think you lost
think you'd appreciate
One-
Connie Suck It.
you lost your one F word for that. That was way
dang,
worse.
that was my one.
That was putrid. What you just said.
Fuck. But
You just said it.
Dang. Gosh darn.
Shucks.
No. What did I say in the show? Fudge Ripple.
Fudge Ripple. I've said it. Okay, Chris, no joke. I've said Fudge Ripple so much lately. It's not even funny.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Just wait till Wrestle Reel or WatCon when we actually y'all get to embrace me and take me in all at once. Like y'all gonna be saying like, "Oh yeah, bro, like I popped." Wait, and it's gonna be this whole thing. Shit. There are a couple other things. That
Chris, there was a line in this film I know you appreciated a lot. You were talking about before we went live.
was there? What are you
Where
talking
you-
about? The move, bitch, get out of the way. Yo, cause this is 2005. I don't know exactly when that Ludacris song came out. It was like, "Move, bitch, get out the way," because that had to have been your pop culture tie-in. Because
It came out.
Is it in the
2001
too? It has to be. I haven't seen the trailer for this, but it has to be in it.
Yeah.
Because it's so distinct, and it happens before Connor's favorite part, where the lady was ran off the road, the piece of garbage lady, which by the way she totally deserved what she was getting, 1000%.
Yeah.
But she was like smoking and shit, and she was smoking in the deli. Come on, nah. I know it's 2005, but still, like, come on, you're better than that. Yo, this movie is just nuts. Oh God, Taylor, before your favorite line, the Dracula bit, where Mary and Nick, they're on the ice rink, and they sit down because they have time to kill, and they get all cuddly with each other, and they're talking about their feelings and shit. How your grandpa's gonna be watching that, looking down on you, whatever, like from heaven, whatever the hell. And I wrote down in my notes, "We don't have time to be cute. Santa's gonna kill you." Like,
Yeah.
What the hell? Santa's right behind them.
He's in the building.
Yeah, Goldberg was in the damn, not too far behind them, and then out of nowhere, a Zamboni shows up.
Do you think that Santa Goldberg is standing behind them going, "Your grandpa's not in heaven, your grandpa's in hell"?
I'm surprised. Maybe this was copyright from WWE or WWF, to where he couldn't say it. But aren't you shocked he didn't say "you're next" at any point in this movie?
That's true. I'm kind of. Can you really copyright the phrase "you're next"? Like, I'm sure in the context of like printing it on wrestling memorabilia or something, right? But like,
Sure.
you can't make it so people aren't allowed to say "you're next" in a movie. I would think, right? Although Vince McMahon's an absolute
Maybe it's
legal
because it's
lunatic.
Goldberg, and you know the implication behind having "you're next" and or "who's next," like in Goldberg or with Goldberg, whatever. But I was surprised I didn't hear it. I was shocked. Genuinely.
Yeah, I would think it'd be a lot harder to do that thing where they worked in his theme music motif in the score. I would think that would be more troublesome. So I don't know. I don't know how this Hollywood these lawyers work in the Santa sleigh verse.
It could just be that they had no clue what the hell they were doing and just forgot to even write it in. Although you would think Goldberg, I guess, would be like, "You're next," just as an improvised line.
You know what? He hit a spear too, but he doesn't hit a jackhammer, right?
No, but yes,
No,
I
he
remember the
doesn't.
spear. That was when Chris popped. But
He should have hit a jackhammer. That'd been very, very satisfying if he lifted up like a Santa impersonator or something and just drilled him there in the street. He's kind of, at first it's a little confusing because it seems like he only kind of kills bad people. Like it takes a while. He only kills people that you don't feel bad for. Like everybody in the opening scene gets really shitty before he shows up. And they're like really like rude to each other. They're all
like Samoans.
Yeah, they're all like low key racist, and like also two of them are like trying to like get to like first base or second base under the table.
It gets incestuous for a second.
It's just you don't care about it. You don't feel bad for them. And then they die. And then I love the next time you see him, I don't know what the setup for this was. He's just ringing the bell for the Salvation Army in front of a grocery store.
Doesn't that imply that he killed the Santa that was there, though?
I don't know, but then someone comes up and gets real rude, so he kills him. Like, I'm not sure what his moral compass is. He's kind of an anti-hero. But then, yeah, eventually he just gets a little too sloppy and he becomes a villain. But
remember at the police station, they
Santa Claus would have never done that.
His kill pattern was a tree. They made it a point to talk about that for a hot second, to where the kill pattern in town, in hell, wherever the hell they were at, was a tree. And I'm like, that's so stupid. But then Goldberg goes to the police station, a wreck shop, and like he's out here picking people up by like one hand. He tased the dude in the tased the guy below the belt. To put it lightly, it's like, this is wild.
Yeah,
like, this movie is genuinely insane, and I loved every bit that had Goldberg in it. I couldn't untake. My eyes were glued to the damn screen. I'm trying to say, like I was so enthralled with Goldberg as Satan Claus, whatever the hell his name was.
Will you guys watch this again and consecutive holiday seasons? Do you think you'll revisit this?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like Wrestle Reel come 2021 around this holiday season, we'll probably watch this movie again.
Yeah, because it's so short, it's like, why not throw it on when it's that time of the year? Also, it has the benefit of like when somebody says they haven't seen it, which is most people you'll ever meet, you can show it to them, and they'll be like, wow, a pro wrestling murderous Santa Claus, that's something to see. It's a movie. Yeah,
one year it's going to be me, you, Chris, Connor, Goldberg, Fran Drescher. We're all going to be watching watch along of.
If Fran Drescher was on Wrestle Reel, I would lose my damn mind. I'd mark out and be like, "Yo, like The Nanny is the most underrated sitcom of the last like 50 years."
Would you say you'd pop?
I don't want to say I'll pop when Fran Drescher shows up. I really don't want to say that, even though I guess. But like, yo, I would definitely mark out if Fran Drescher was on screen.
Chris, I think you're unintentionally plotting out the next charity watch along stream where we watch every single episode of The Nanny in one sitting with Fran Drescher.
Every episode of that show was on for like 6 years.
All right, well, bring some snacks.
Damn, we're gonna be. I want to calculate how long that would be.
And I said it on the air, so you be careful. Last time that happened, it happened.
Yeah, as a joke, nonetheless. But two other things I wanted to mention real fast. One of the names of the strippers at the strip club.
Oh my god.
Because the pastor who was sinfully at the strip club, right?
Yeah,
they had a eulogy for the strippers that passed away in the strip club fire at church the next day, and he read off their names, and I couldn't. I'm sorry. Like, I was gonna change my name on this thing to the name in question, but I'm like, no, that's too much. With no context, that's too much. But her name was Dixie Wrecked.
Great.
God bless America. And the other one was seeing Zeus. Nick mentioned him earlier. We saw Tommy Lister in this thing for a hot second.
R.I.P.
May he rest him. He just passed away not too long ago, a couple days ago. So R.I.P. Tommy Lister. Seen him as the gas attendant. I think that's what he was credited as. And he's like, I forgot what his lines were, but he was talking about how he listened to everything through a police scanner, and that was the way that Nick found out about the shit going on at the deli. Seamless transition. Having Tommy Lister in that thing, having Zeus, a wrestling cameo, all the marks popped all at once, us included. But Yeah, and he just passed away, which really sucks. That's Debo. That's Debo to me.
Debo.
So, gotta love Debo.
Debo. You also missed that one of the other strippers' names was Tess Tickler.
Yeah.
I remembered that. That stuck with me. I didn't have to write that down.
Yeah,
and then,
I had to write down Dixie Wrecked.
And then one of the, I think the police chief or somebody, his name on his desk, his like nameplate just said like Captain Dick Zucker. I'm like, that's not even like a thing. It's not even a thing. You just
force that. Like, no, let's force.
Just so like, such a the humor. When the humor is anything but Goldberg dressed as Santa killing somebody, it's awful. But when it is that, it's hilarious.
I can't stand it. I genuinely can't stand it.
Like an hour 17, it still manages to be like too long because it's just every time it gets away from them.
When the movie was ending, I thought it was going to keep going. I forgot how much time I had left in the movie. So after the second curling scene, I'm like, this movie's not done yet. Like, this movie, there's no way it's done because the plot's not resolved. Santa's about to fly to Hawaii and shit with his biker jacket on. And then, nope, the movie ends.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Yeah, the movie just kind of ends. They kill his buffalo, but he gets away. They also have that dude with the hunter with the stoma. That was, again, like so South Park. Like, oh, my God. But yeah, Goldberg at the airport, and he's wearing a Goldberg beanie. So they cleared the copyright on that, right? And I think he's down his back of his vest, too. He's got a Goldberg insignia.
He's wearing the merch. He's out here. He's fucking working himself. He's working us into a shoot, brother.
They cleared that. Although, can you copyright a man's tribal tats? I don't know if you can. That's what it is.
No.
Copyright his tats.
Right? I bet Vince has tried. You know he had to have tried at one point or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, before we move into the high spot of the week, we do have to wrap this show as well. We're not just going to abruptly end it like Santa's Slay. And we can officially say we've gone longer than Santa's Slay's runtime. But
yes,
I want a rating for the movie. How would you rate Santa's Slay? Nick, we'll start with you.
5 out of 5 Santa Clauses in the sequel. I don't know. It was amazing. It was incredible. No, honestly, maybe like a 4 out of 5. Like, I'm literally rating it that high just because Goldberg fucking murders people.
Taylor Slayer.
2.5 Glock Transformers. It's as a movie, if you like, just look at it as a movie, terrible. But if you just terrible. And not as good on a repeat viewing as I found, even though it was years ago that I watched it. But for that initial view, it's so absurd. A lot of the humor doesn't hold up at all. It's just very like it's something a 12-year-old would have written. But that 2.5 is pure Bill Goldberg dressed as Santa killing people. That's like that alone got that much. So I would say that's I mean, again, I'll watch this again. Like it's that thing of like, have you heard of this movie, Santa Slay? Bill Goldberg plays Santa, blah, blah, blah. Like, and you put it on, and it's fun. It's fun. It's not good, but it's fun.
It's a fun time to kill an hour 17. I'll tell you that.
There it is, yeah.
1,000%. Especially if there's alcohol involved, you're gonna have a great time watching Santa Slay.
Yeah, spike the eggnog heavy for that one.
Spike the eggnog 1,000%. Now I will also give I'll give 2 separate ratings, like my pro wrestling rating and then my movie rating. So my pro wrestling rating, obviously it's a 5 out of 5. I'm totally with Nick. Like this movie rules. Like it's so much fun. Oh my god. Yes, as a movie, it's not the best. But it's so much fun to watch. I was cracking up. I was cracking the hell up watching this thing. Although some of the jokes are awfully dated, 1,000%. Some of the dialogue's awfully dated, 1,000%. But it's still a lot of fun to watch if you just get over the little shit that they say that isn't necessarily politically correct nowadays. But then my movie rating, I think it'd be like I'd give this like a two knobs being jerked off out of 5. You know, like truly, this movie's not good, but it's so much fun to watch. This is definitely something where if I'm with the homies, so hypothetically, say at WatCon, we're like, damn, we have an hour 17 to kill. What are we gonna do? And I load up my Peacock, and we watch. Let me rephrase. I load up Peacock, and we watch Santa's Sleigh with our heavily spiked eggnog. 1,000%. Yo, this movie rules. It really does. If you have not seen Santa's Sleigh, it's available for free on Peacock. I'm pretty sure that's how we all watched it, unless one of us owns it. I just don't know.
I own the Criterion collection, which includes the booklet about why James Caan's in it.
See, and we'll talk about that post show. But no, we have our high spot for the week, and then we'll wrap the show. Hell yeah, brother!
I should probably click that.
So for those who don't know, our high spot every week is where Nick, myself, or one of us, or both of us sometimes, we get on our soapbox and we talk about something just in pro wrestling that either bothers us or that we really like. It's just something that we would like to get off our chest. And I told Nick before the show, I happily had a high spot, and we kind of alluded to it earlier in the show, but I will actually take a different approach to it. And my high spot for the week is about Sting and All Elite Wrestling. Yes, it's cool as hell, right? We get to see Sting in his glory. He had a cool ass entrance, a great debut on AEW. Fantastic, right? It does not rival his WWE Survivor Series debut. That debut freaking rocks.
It was amazing.
But this AEW one is pretty damn cool for AEW, right? So they were teasing stuff with Darby Allin. We all know Darby Allin with the half face paint, a la Sting, you know. So Darby Allin must have loved Sting. And then the Cody Rhodes stuff, as we alluded to earlier in the show, it's cool in theory, right? But with that being said, no. I see what you're doing, AEW. Please don't. For the love of God, right? Here, let me get serious. Take these glasses off, right? AEW, please don't. This could be really, really bad. This is why The Undertaker had to stop. Because, of course, we want to see Sting wrestle Darby Allin. I want to see Sting wrestle Darby Allin. And if that happens, I will happily watch that. I will pay the big bucks for a pay-per-view if that happens at Revolution or if it happens wherever the hell. I'll happily pay for the show. Because I want to see Sting. I love Sting. He should have went over at WrestleMania with Triple H, but that's a topic for a different day.
Yes, he should.
But don't have him do it. I know you signed him multiple year deal. He's the best-selling T-shirt of every wrestler ever with pro wrestling tees. He sold the most T-shirts in a day. In one day, in like 16 hours, he broke every record that pro wrestling tees had, which is insane, right? But why? I know, Sting, you got it in you, but we saw what happened last time you wrestled, dude. Seth Rollins almost killed you. Like, this isn't like hyperbole either. He almost put you down for the count, unintentionally either. Because that's Sting. You don't want to hurt Sting. What's Sting do to you? Like, that's Seth Rollins, one of the most trusted workers in the biz. At least we thought so. Before Survivor Series or Night of Champions that year, was it not? Yeah, Night of Champions, correct? I believe it was Night of Champions. But he hurt Sting, and he almost could have paralyzed Sting on some real shit. And you're gonna have him come back and take some bumps from Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes. I know they'll be doing the heavy lifting, but come on, like this is just scary to watch. It'll be cringy at points just in case Sting can't keep up or if he's gassed. Because he's older. I don't think he's 60, not yet. But
61. 61.
He's 61 years old.
I just looked it up because I couldn't believe it myself.
Gosh darn it. And that further emphasizes my point. We saw what happened when wrestlers got too old. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, they just couldn't keep up anymore. As much as their names like Sting, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, some of the most popular wrestling characters and best wrestlers of all time, regardless of what you think of them personally, these are all the most notable names in wrestling, and they didn't until they got old, right? Mm-hmm. We saw what happened to Roddy Piper. Not to harp on how Roddy Piper passed away, but he's a guy that just because he couldn't get out of the wrestling biz, it drove him to a certain point, and he couldn't wrestle. My man was limping. We see Mick Foley, you know? He gave his life to the wrestling business, and I don't want Sting to get hurt I don't want him to get hurt in the ring. I really don't, especially like on a pay-per-view. We saw what happened with Matt Hardy at All Out and how terrifying that was. And that's Matt Hardy, a guy who can still go, and he's still a decent age. And AEW is a little more reckless than WWE is. As much shit for WWE gets for playing it safe, their guys last a long time.
Yeah.
AEW, we saw what happened with Matt, and I hate to harp on it, but it ruined the rest of the show. All Out. Not saying it's Matt's fault. It's an accident. Accidents happen. But it ruined the vibe of the entire show. And I don't want Sting to get hurt. But, I mean, if they announce Sting Darby Allin at AEW Revolution next year, damn well I'm paying for it.
Yep.
So you think there's them bringing him in as they definitely do intend to actually book him in a match and not just have him as a personality in the show.
And it's going to happen once. Because he still talks about that Taker match he wanted. He still talks about it.
As we all do. It's a damn crime that we didn't get that. And it's weird. I didn't realize, you guys are obviously more in touch with this than I am. I didn't realize that like Sting as a WWE thing was such a done deal already, that he was like had done his thing and it was out. I know there's not much left for him to do there. Cause when he got injured, it wasn't even a thing of like he chose to retire. It was that thing where they're like, no, we won't clear you to compete anymore. Right?
No, that's the thing is gosh. Okay, so I hate to harp on a certain wrestler, and I think that they play into the concussion part of it a lot more when it comes to, and you'll know why I am saying that. If you're a wrestling fan, you know exactly why, unfortunately, I am saying that. They do it, but it's a concussion thing. But at the same time, the severity of Sting's injury when it came to, I mean, he almost was paralyzed. Yeah. They're incredibly, that's something I'll give him credit to, where, I mean, they did it to Daniel Bryan for the longest time before they were finally like, you can do it. We'll let you do it.
Because they didn't want to let Daniel Bryan go either.
No.
That would have been, because he would have went somewhere else and wrestled, But Sting, because he's older, they weren't sure if he was going to wrestle. But then All Elite's like, hello, here's X amount of money. Comes, we'll see what you can do. And putting him with safe workers like Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin, these guys that like they bring out the best in everybody, and they'll make him look great. But it's not going to be what we want. It's not going to be old Sting, and I'm scared he's going to get hurt. That's my biggest fear. I don't want Sting to go down in the middle of the ring because he tore something, he broke something, and then he's really done.
Right.
Like I don't want to see that. I don't because I saw Seth Rollins buckle bomb him, and my man legitimately falling limp in the ring while coming off of the ropes. It's like, oh God, like this. I get it, Sting. I'm a fan. I'm gonna watch it if you do it. Which is, I know it sounds hypocritical, and it probably is hypocritical, but I'll take it. But damn, I'm gonna wince every time you take a bump. I will wince. 1,000. Like Daniel Bryan's first match when he came back at WrestleMania, I will wince every single time.
And that the Daniel Bryan one was, they were like flaunting, like, oh yeah, we're gonna beat the shit out of this guy. Like we're gonna really scare
we'll put you on the shelf, brother. Like it's this whole thing.
I would think. I mean, AEW, they're smart over there, right? Like they're not gonna exploit this too bad. You could, there's certain ways you could protect him, right? You could like put him in a tag match, tag him in, have him hit the big spot, the big finisher,
give him the hot tag. Yeah, give him the
hot tag, get the pin. There's things you can do to protect it, but I agree. I mean, that's no secret. We've got to move on past the legends. We love seeing them. That's the hard thing, is the legends sell, right? They move the shirts, they sell the tickets. We get so excited when the music hits and Sting comes out and you didn't even know he was there. Like, and then everybody's freaking out. Like those personalities and characters get us so excited, but at what cost, man? It's just, and then when they do finally get in the ring, you have this idea who Sting is, or like the Undertaker is, and there's an expectation that comes with that. That's just, they are not capable of meeting anymore. And it's nothing against them. That's time. That's humanity, and that's a life spent jumping off of stuff and getting knocked on your ass and hit with chairs and being on the road your whole life and being on painkillers. Like you're just worn down. So it's like, I don't know. What can we expect from someone like Sting? You know, if I were him, I'd be like, let's stay home and chill and relax. But I don't know. I guess you just got the wrestling fever. You can't get it. You can't shake it out. You know,
It's a passion. It's a passion for doing it for the fans, and like, you know, I'm sure that he knows if he goes out there, even though they have a very limited capacity of fans there, that somebody's going to pop, no pun intended, when it comes to this show. But yeah, I mean, like, somebody's gonna scream. I would have if I was there.
Even in its limited capacity, I mean, it was huge.
It was deafening. Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine in front of 15,000 people at an arena, the arena would have flipped. Like, you know, it would have come off the ground and flipped over.
Yeah.
And the AEW's done a lot of that in the last 8 months, right, since the pandemic. They had Matt Hardy and Brody Lee show up at the same time on the same show. And it was like, what the hell? And this was in, what, April, May, something like that? It was real early in pandemic wrestling. And it was like, what the f-? They were going to do this at a live show, but then they had to do it at the COVID shows at Daily Plaza in Jacksonville. And the pop would have been insane. The reaction would have been nuts. Sting would have been 10 times that. Mm-hmm. Like, it would have been absolutely wild. And I get the love and I get the appeal. I'm a Sting and Mark brother. Like, I love Sting, but I will definitely have the same reaction to when, like, Daniel Bryan wrestled Brock at Survivor Series a couple of years ago, where I'm like, shit, like, this isn't going to be good, you know. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Which, with a lot of the things I say on this show, I hope I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. So I want the show to be the best it can be, you know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with Sting, and I guarantee the second Sting wrestles, we'll talk about that on this show.
Definitely,
it's going to be awesome. But with that being said, we're going to wrap this week's episode of Wrestle Real. Thank you so much for watching, Taylor. Wrestle Really Scared, man, the first official one. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for Connie Wrestle Time. Hell yeah, brother, for coming on the show. Taylor, tell the peeps where they can find you and Connie Breedlove.
Oh man, you can find us every Thursday night on this very channel. You don't have to what was it? Jerk that knob off too hard. You can just stay right here every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're still in the midst of our holiday horror discussion marathon, and we're the horror movie show. This Thursday, we're talking about Gremlins. I'm excited for it. I'm also kind of intimidated by it because we've never talked about a movie so popular and with such a legacy and a you know, just such a base of fans. Like, people love Gremlins, man. That's a huge movie. So I'm almost kind of intimidated to talk about it, but we're going to talk about Gremlins. We're doing a Black Christmas episode the following week. We got our book club going down. So a lot of great holiday horror content, and we're lining up some really cool stuff for 2021. So the best is yet to come. So come check out Reely Scared if you like the spooky stuff.
Damn right. And Nick, per usual, is there anything I missed on the show or I missed that we should probably mention before we wrap?
I think that we covered all grounds here. Thank you, everybody who showed up for our shout out to Matt for tagging us on Twitch so we can get some more viewership in here. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that subscribe button. Please follow us. Follow the social medias. Watch Reely Scared. I think that we got everything that we needed to get done. So that being said, my name is Nick Mulbach.
I am Christmas Anthony Lopez, you boy.
And I'm Slayer Cleek, not fucking Dracula.
Atonement.
What?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Right, yeah.
Atonement, the Really Trivia Showdown here on the channel, our movie trivia fan league for the Movie Trivia Schmodown. Our big event is called Atonement. Please stay on the channel for more information on that as we go. But this is just a little bit of a tease for what we got going on and all the matches on that card. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you like movie trivia and if you like, you know, just some grand personalities facing off against each other, this is your event. But
that's right.
More info on that.
Bottom left-hand corner is the main event that might feature some important people who are on this show right now.
Yeah, I hear that.
Hell brother. But check out Atonement. Like I said, follow all social medias, and we'll give you all the info on that when the time comes. But for Nick Molbach, for Slayer Cleek, and our boy Matt in the back, I am Christmas Anthony Lopez, and we're all truly kids at heart. We'll see you guys next time.
And that's the bottom line.